presentation, perhaps you cannot open siguro, no, because I actually did some settings na sa settings na part sa YouTube. So I will recheck the net so that you can view again the video if you wanted to. Okay, so the session is now in, and before we are to start or before we will continue our lesson on the utilization of assessment data, let's run through first our quiz, no? So we will try to answer first our quiz, and then let's go back to the questions that I have been posted, no? And then yeah, let's run through everything before we will continue our lesson. So let me share my screen. Again, everyone, excuse me. Again, everyone, if meron tayong mga technical problems, please do inform me, especially kung nawawala yung screen ko, hindi siya visible, and then I am not audible to, please inform me. So I will now share my screen. Let's start first sa short natin. Okay, I'm so sorry hindi ko pa na-check lahat, no? And I will try my best to finish it within the day so that I will return it to you, no? Same as with the two questions that I have posted. Okay, anyway. Okay, so here is now my screen. I hope it's visible to you. Kita naman. Hello?
Nag-appear po.
Nag-appear na
sir.
po.
Nag-appear
Yes po.
siya. Okay. For a while. Okay. For a while. Okay, so let's run through this one. Okay. That one, no? Short quiz. I hope nakita siya. Okay, nakita siya. Okay. Do I have to zoom it in? So we'll zoom it in, no, for you. Okay, so we have here, please take the instruction, no? More judicious talaga yung parati kong inuulit during the orientation that you really have to read the instruction first before you proceed answering it. For those people here who are experiencing technical problems, by the way, lahat ng mga nag-inform sa akin that they have technical problems, lahat kayo the same talaga ng what you call this problem na by the time you submit it, nag-loading siya and then naubos yung time. Okay. Please take note, children. Anyway, papakita ko sa inyo. Okay, that one, no? Please take note na lahat ng mga entities sa isang short quiz or any Google form na inyong sasagutan in the future, lahat yan meron siyang asterisk na pula na according to it, that is a required item. Therefore, do not forget to answer that item. Okay? And then at the same time, children, you would notice that when you answered your short quiz, nakakita kayo ng ganito, tama?
Yes,
Submission
sir.
ID?
Yes, sir.
Yes. At ang sinabi sa submission ID, do not edit. Pero yung iba, according to some na mga statements, na natagalan sila dito daw. Okay, natagalan sila dito. Klaro yung instruction, do not edit. Do not edit this field or your time will not be recorded. Okay, so wag galawin ang submission ID. Okay, and then that's it. And then of course, our instruction. Okay, please, children, if I will be giving instruction in the future, sa susunod na naman nating quiz, children, please take note of the instruction. If I said all answers must be written in capital letters, it should be written in capital letters. Why? Because by the time you will answer in a different manner, it will be marked wrong. Kasi yung Google form natin, meron siyang settings, children, na kung ano yung ilalagay kong sagot, yun lang ang tamang sagot. Okay? Nakaintindihan?
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, that is very clear. And then I think the instruction was very clear, no? Ilang words lang yun? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. All answers must be written in capital letters. And then meron talagang sumagot ng small letters or in different manner. So our Google form will mark it wrong. But since una pa naman natin itong quiz, gi-consider na ko siya. That is why I checked it
Yeah.
manually. So
Thank you,
nag-check ko
sir.
manually,
Thank
I
you.
checked it manually, and then I considered it. Okay. And then again, children, mind you everyone, we really have to mind the instruction given. Importante kasi yun. Okay? Because by the time you will be taking your board exam, you will be following a lot of instructions. And then if you cannot follow that instruction, very simple instruction, mabagsak mo, muna hinungdanan na mabagsak sa board exam. Clear, children?
Yes
Yes,
po.
sir.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Sige ha, klaro na.
Yes po,
Klaro
sir.
na kayo na siya. Oh,
Yes,
it's
sir.
okay. Klaro na kayo na siya, no?
Na-pressure lang sa
It is
time.
on. Na pressure sa time, yeah. Okay. It is on recorded, children. And then, ang time, if you are going to notice my instruction, nilagay ko talaga kung ilang items, and at the same time, yung time, no? 14 items, and then the time is good for 7 minutes. So parang meron na talagang something projection. So kalma lang, kalma. Okay? Kalma sa pagsagot because by the time matataranta ka because you are actually watching the time, that's the time that may magkakaproblema talaga. And then, children, by the time you will be answering, and then para bitang, what you call this? Parang aligaga ka, no? Meron kang sagot, na-erase mo, nag-next ka muna bago mo sinagutan yung sunod, ganyan. Meron siyang note na ilalagay sa system ko. Meron siya ilalagay na if the person is very focused on answering the item, ang ilalagay doon sa system ko, always in focus. Parang ganyan. Okay? So focus lang tayo and then kalma. In a way, magiging practice niyo ito because we will be doing this one for the entire semester. We will really do this, no? An open quiz, somewhat like that. Okay, so let's run through first. Okay, of course you have to key in your email address, no? Then you really have to use your institutional email because if you are not going to use your institutional email, your answers or your answers will be disregarded. Okay, so let's try to answer first this one. Okay, it deals with collecting, describing, and analyzing a set of data without drawing conclusions or inferences about a large group. Who can answer?
Descriptive.
Who can answer that question?
Descriptive statistic.
Descriptive, sir.
No, okay, very good. No, that is descriptive statistics. Very good. Okay. Sir, how about descriptive lang, sir? Wrong. Another thing, if if the answer is not complete, no? Sir, bakit po hindi pwede yung descriptive lang? If you're going to define descriptive, that's the other thing. We're not referring to the branch of statistics. Is that clear? Claro?
Yes,
Po, sir.
yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Meron
Yes,
talaga
sir.
tayong mga sagot na i-consider, pero meron talagang sagot na hindi pwedeng i-consider because that is wrong. Okay. Next, ito. By the way, I would like to inform everyone because somebody, I don't know to kung dito bang section or sa kabilang section, pero nakita niya talaga ng, sir, ano po yung sagot dito, sir? Bakit puro something wrong? And I look at the item and I notice something that the item really is a mistake, no? Item. Because the answer for this one is data. Yung nakabutang na ang data. So, gi-appeal akong
Opo,
in-code. So,
sir.
balbal pa rin yung teacher. Eh? Wa siguro kayo nung magkape, nakatulog siguro ang panahon na. No? Na-appeal og in-code ang word nga data. By the way, the answer for this, if we're going to erase that one, kaya nga ako naman itong ibutang ana, it consists of information coming from observations, counts, measurements, or responses. So the answer for that is data. And by the way, ang gagawin ko dito, meron kasi akong na-check na papel. I think meron ng 5. So babalikan ko yon and I will give you your final score. I-omit ko to, tatanggalin ko to. Hindi ko siya gawing bonus, no? Tatanggalin ko siya because mag-error yung system natin. So tatanggalin ko siya sa item. Klaro?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sige, dapat mag-answer kita, manubag kita, yes sir ha? Kay, bisag ang uban din, nagtulo ng laway, kinatulog og bali. Okay,
Wala, sir.
let's continue. So it is the collection of all outcomes, no? Responses, measurements, or counts that are of interest. Anong sagot?
Population.
Population.
Good.
Population.
Population. Okay, sige, no? And of course, the second one, it is a subset of a population. So the answer for that,
Sample.
Sample.
sample. Okay. Next, of course, example of quantitative continuous data. Can we have Palawan? Is this Palawan? Islania?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you give me an example? One example of quantitative continuous data.
Two pink pair of shoes and two white dresses, sir.
Continuous data meaning to say, ano yung continuous?
Measure.
Measuring, sir.
Ay, sorry, sir.
Measuring.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Palawan. Palawan, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, another, no, sa quantitative pa rin, continuous data, can we have Rana Radia? Rana? Okay, can we have Mithusila?
Signal.
Mithusila. Yung signal. Kanoy, are you there?
Sir, example
Okay.
po sa continuous, sir.
Yes.
Relate po kasi ako. Yung hours, like minutes and seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Can we have another? Thank you, dear. Hanifa. Ang uban kay maginahinay reg left bantay pambarangon magina ko nilon ba? Hanifa.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Another example of quantitative continuous data.
I weigh 35 kilogram.
Very good. Yes. Kalandada, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, we have example of qualitative polynomic data.
Hair color.
Kosnia. Yes, Kosnia.
Hair color.
Okay, Kosnia, hair color. Yes. Okay. Let's proceed to other. Next, what are the two major branches of statistics? Of course, we have, ano yun? We
Inferential and descriptive.
Inferential and
have,
descriptive statistics.
Sir, ito ba sir, pwede po ba na descriptive lang or inferential lang yung sagot? Pwede. Because na-mention na yung word na statistics. Okay? So pwede yung sagot descriptive and then inferential or descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Okay? How about example of dichotomic data? Example of dichotomic data, we have Mujahid.
Sex.
Mujahid, are you there? Parang wala pang signal. What is example of qualitative dichotomic data? Monisa. Joanna.
Sir.
Joanna. Qualitative polynomic. Example.
Polynomic po? Polynomic?
Yes. Yes.
Yung school, name of school.
Name of school, yes. Okay. Abdullah. Abdullah, no?
Yes po,
Okay.
sir.
Let's continue. Kinesha, it is concerned with the analysis of a subset of data leading to predictions or inferences. This is inferential statistics. Okay. Next, A very important tool in the utilization of the assessment data, most especially in describing, analyzing, and interpreting the
Statistics.
performance. Yes, this is the statistics. How about this one? It is the science of collecting. Kana siya? This is still
Statistics, sir.
Statistics, sir.
okay. What are the two types of data we have?
Qualitative and
Quantitative
quantitative
and
data.
qualitative
Okay.
data.
Qualitative and quantitative. Okay. Example of quantitative discrete data. Sino makapagbigay? Taas kamay.
Sir, ako, sir.
Meron by the way. Jahan. Yes, Jahan.
Yes, sir. Number of books.
Number of books. Yes, yes, very good. But sure, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. The last one, in a recent survey, 5,000 college students at Philippine Normal University were asked if they drank coffee regularly. 1,500 of the students said no. Identify the population of the sample. So you can give me, sige, sagutan na lang natin agad-agad, no? The population will be, should be the 5,000 college students. Okay, very good. Okay, next, the sample, I 1,000.
1,000 college students.
1,500.
1,500.
Very good. Yes, very good. Sige. That's it. Now let's try to look at our questions, no? Remember we have this one, no? How is statistics important to teachers? And then statistics plays a very important role in assessment. So I ask there why. Okay, so I will be reading your answers later part of the show, no? Okay. Sige. So let's start now. Let's continue our discussion. Can you now see my screen, everyone?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sige. And then I'll be okay. You will be actually seeing as at some point an announcement or a post on the upper part of the screen. So meron kayo makikita later part. Tagal niyang makita. Meron ba kayo nakikita sa bandang taas ng screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sa mga
sir.
pwede dyan, let's try this one. If we can have this, please write your questions. I will share it siguro sa... Okay. So the link, I will be posting the link sa chat. And then if you can browse on that link. You can actually post your question there, and then your question will be presented later, or I'll be answering it later. Okay. So makikita natin yun sa chat. Hopefully makikita na siya. Meron na kayo nakikita sa chat? There you go. So that's the link. You can actually go through sa link na yan. Okay. So we will continue our discussion. No? Okay. So we ended up here, no? Ito yung last discussion natin. Ito ba yun?
Yes, sir.
Ito na part?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's try to look at here. There's one. And then let's run through lang the answers. And hopefully, no, meron na kayong nasagutan dito. So let's run through lang. So we have to work collaboratively to determine the correct data type. If the data is quantitative or qualitative, and then if it is quantitative, we have to identify if it is continuous or discrete. Okay, so let me have number one. Please, you can actually take note, no? The number of pairs of shoes you own. So the number of pairs daw of shoes you own, that is
Quantitative.
Quantitative
quantitative.
discrete.
Yes,
Discrete.
very good. So that is quantitative discrete. Okay. Number two, the type of car you drive. The type of car you drive is
Qualitative.
Qualitative. Qualitative, sir.
qualitative. Okay, qualitative. Number two is qualitative. You can take note of that. Number three, where you go on vacation.
Qualitative, sir.
Where you
Qualitative.
go,
Qualitative.
qualitative, no? Okay, because where ang sagot, no? Sorry, yung item where, saan? Okay, so ang dami. So that's qualitative. Number four, the distance it is from your home to the nearest grocery store. The distance, there
Quantitative.
is quantitative,
Quantitative.
specific,
Quantitative.
continuous. Yes, this is quantitative continuous. Number five, the number of classes you take per school year. The number of classes you take per school year.
Quantitative. Discrete, sir.
Quantitative discrete.
Yes, quantitative discrete, no? Okay, so count lang na siya. Number six, the tuition for your classes. The tuition for your classes.
Quantitative.
Tuition for your class. Quantitative na siya, children. Qualitative, but the answer is continuous, not discrete, no? Sir, bakit po hindi siya discrete? Remember, ang discrete is counting. But yung tuition natin, di ba ipang-add natin yung tuition? For example, you have 3 units. Therefore, if you have 100 per unit, therefore you have 600, we have 300 per unit. Per unit, sorry. 300 per subject. Di ba, parang i-compute natin siya? Di ba?
Yes, sir.
So your tuition fee, since i-compute siya, hindi siya discrete, that is not counting. Therefore, this is quantitative continuous. Please take note. Number seven, the type of calculator you use.
Qualitative.
Qualitative.
Again, this is
Qualitative.
Qualitative.
quali ha. Okay, type kasi of calculator you use. Therefore, this is qualitative. Yes. Number eight, movie ratings.
Quantitative continuous.
Quantitative.
Okay, yes. Quantitative continuous. Sir, bakit naging continuous? Because ang rating natin is computed, no? Di ba ang rating, for example, ABS-CBN, sorry no, although wala na talaga ABS-CBN nag-exist sa kuan, sa entertainment, pero nandiyan sila when it comes to virtual, no? Between GMA and then ABS-CBN, like for example, mag-conduct og rating, di ba naka-percentage yan siya. So that is actually computed. Therefore, movie ratings kay quantitative continuous. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, di ba? Okay. So far, wala pang nag-ask ng question sa ating question trivia. Meron tayo pa question trivia dito. Number 9, political party preferences. Political party preferences. Qualitative, no? Yung mga preferences natin sa political party, gusto ba natin na mas mayaman, mas gwapo na political party, like for example. Okay. Next, number 10, sumo wrestlers. Of course, ways na siya ang word. Therefore, this is quantitative, continuous.
Quantitative.
Thank you. 11, amount of money in peso. In peso, won playing poker. Amount of money.
Quantitative.
Quantitative discrete.
Quantitative. Quantitative discrete.
Asa kaya ni siya? Is this continuous or discrete? Paano ba natin amount of
Discrete.
money? Pag
Discrete po.
Discrete, sir.
amount of money, no?
Discrete.
Ha? Bakit ba,
Discrete siya po.
Ay,
if ever kung
continuous,
magiging
sir.
discrete siya, if ever ba magiging discrete siya, ano bang ginagawa natin sa poker? Ano ba yun siya? Gi-count ba natin siya? Nag-count ba tayo? I think hindi, di ba? Parang sa poker, murag ga-add ka og money. So that's
Yes
still
po.
amount of money. Therefore, the answer here is continuous sa poker, no? Ano siya? Kanang sa poker nga, pera yung labanan. Something like that. So, although it is quite confusing because nga you will be counting. But then again, ang ang problema dito, one playing poker. So, mean to say, nag-add up na yung money. So, that is continuous, no? Number 12, number of correct answers on a quiz. Ay, klaro-klaro. Number 12?
Discrete, sir.
Quantitative discrete.
Yes, this is discrete. Okay, number man of correct answers. All you have to do is to count the correct answer. Therefore, that is discrete. Very good. People's attitudes toward the government.
Qualitative.
Qualitative.
Very good. Qualitative, no? Ano ba yung attitude? What's your attitude towards the government? Are you angry? Are you okay? Do you feel good? Something like that. So that is qualitative. Number 14, I think this is the last item. No? IQ scores.
Quantitative, continuous.
Quantitative discrete.
Quantitative, discrete.
Hmm. Quantitative, alam na natin na quantitative, pero the question is it continuous or discrete? How to identify IQ scores, by the way?
Continuous, sir.
Hmm. Because IQ scores, actually, ang IQ scores natin, it is actually computed, no? Sorry, in order to take the exam and then titingnan, blah, 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 ng the one who administered the exam. So it is actually part of the computation, standardized. Therefore, IQ scores considered to be continuous. Okay, claro? Any questions
Yes,
so
sir.
far?
Wala na po, sir.
Wala, okay. Okay. Sige, let's continue to our lesson. Let's jump off to a numerical scale of measurement. Sir, why do we have to discuss numerical scale of measurement? Because later on, children, for the whole chapter, you will be encountering a lot of data. No? We will be encountering different sets of data. You will be encountering different formula. Kung titingnan niyo yung mga problem sets na yung binigay ko, you would notice there that there are a lot of computations. And mind you, children, actually, you can use this by the time you will be enrolling your thesis proposal, no, your CPE198, because this one could identify kung ano yung gagamitin nating statistical tool, because I believe ito yung parang mistake na nangyayari na even I ka-experience ako niyan, and even sa past na pagtrabahuan ko, we also have this mistake, no, because before we treat our data, statistical tool, no, bago natin siya lapatan kung ano man yung appropriate na statistical tool, we have to identify what type of data we had, no? Yun talaga yung titingnan natin. Of course, di ba, in the field of medicine, before we have to administer medicine, for example, dapat alam natin kung ano yung simptomas ng sakit. Okay? So we have to identify first kung ano yung ano ba yan? Kung ano yung feeling ng pasyente before we can administer him or her a medicine. So this is the same with statistics, because we have to identify the nature of the data first before we actually put or select an appropriate statistical tool. Okay. Before that, we really have to understand first that we have different numerical scale of measurement. I think we have 4. Okay, let's run through. Again, you can ask question, no? You can ask question through the link that I have posted sa chat natin, or you can take note your question and ask it later after the discussion. Okay, the first numerical scale of measurement is nominal. Okay, so it consists of categories in each of which the number of respective observations is recorded. The categories are in no logical order. Ibig sabihin, wala siyang relationship. No logical order. Nominal lang siya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For example, itong klase na to, 35 sila. Sa klaseng ito, 40 sila, something like that, no logical order, and have no particular relationship. Ibig sabihin, yung unang section, kung ilan yung estudyante ng unang section, wala siyang relationship sa pangalawang section. It doesn't mean that pag ang first section natin, meron tayong 20 students, dapat 20 students din ang second section kasi 20 students yung unang section. So sa nominal, hindi yan nangyayari. Again, please take note, no logical order and have no particular relationship. So that is for nominal. Okay. Next, the categories are said to be mutually exclusive since an individual object or measurement can be included in only one of them. Okay, mutually exclusive, pwede siya, no? Pwede siya sa, kasi nga walang relationship. No? Walang relationship. Okay. The next numerical scale we have is ordinal. Okay? Ordinal. Parang somewhat like that. Ito yung analogy ginagawa ko. So, contain more information, consists of distinct categories in which order is implied. Okay. Meron siyang order, children. Okay. So like for example, ang inyong rank. Okay. For example, di ba I actually posted it that I will be choosing top 5 for our short quiz. Okay. So top 1 of course ang merong pinakamataas na score and so on. Rank up to 5. So that is an ordinal numerical scale of measurement. Values in one category are larger or smaller than values in another categories. Okay? So, di ba, kung makikita ninyo sa inyong grade set, meron tayong excellent, meron tayong good, meron tayong somewhat like that. So, meron tayong category. And then order siya. Okay? Top 1, top 2, top 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And I think, no, wala dito, hindi siya napakitaan. And at the same time, sa ordinal natin children, walang relationship ang rank 1 at saka rank 2. Okay. Sir, anong ibig sabihin? Wala lang. Like for example, if I am top 1, dapat ikaw po ang top 2. No certain relationship also. Okay? So nag-rank lang ka. So, for example, uso yan sa, I think, I do not know if it is still the practice of any radio stations na they will play the top 20 songs for that day, for the whole week. Okay, the top 20 there is actually an ordinal numerical scale of measurement. Okay, order lang siya, but they don't have any relationship. Okay, so sa nominal, no logical order, wala po sila relationship. But sa ordinal, naa siya logical order, but no particular relationship. Please take note on that. Next numerical scale we have is interval. Okay, I'm sure you are very familiar with the term interval, no? Kanang maingon ta nga 31 to 51. That is what we call interval. Okay, it is a set of numerical measurements in which the distance between numbers is of unknown and then constant size na siya. So pag maingon ko nga, okay, 31 to 51, pila man ang distance ano niya, klaro. And the next interval, the same pa rin ang distance between the number. Okay? So for example, we will be creating a range siguro no or interval nga 1 to 5. So ang difference natin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So sunod na pud ta, sa sunod na pod, we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay? And then 12 na pod. So that is what we call interval. And then if you are going to look at children, uniform ang ilahang distance. Uniform yung distance ng 1 to 5. Uniform din yung distance ng 6 to 11. And so on. That is what we call interval. Okay? And then the last one we have is ratio. Consists of numerical measurements where the distance between numbers is of unknown, the same with interval. Constant size, the same with interval. In addition, there is a non-arbitrary 0 point. Okay, so non-arbitrary 0 point siya. Okay, so again, those are the four numerical scale of measurement. Okay. So, mo ni siya ang arrangement nato. So, the level of measurement determines which statistical calculations are meaningful. The four levels of measurements are nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio, and then it is actually arranged in a particular manner, lowest to highest. Okay, please take note of that. That is the lowest to highest, no? Lowest nominal, and then the highest level of measurement is ratio. Okay, now let's try to look at the examples of each level of measurement. Sa nominal level natin, calculated using names, labels, or qualities, and then no mathematical computations can be made at this level. Wala. No? Like for example, colors in the US flag. So kanang mga colors nato sa pila man kamo colors. Kanang sa US flag, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's it. Names of students in your class. So names of your students, that is nominal. Okay? And then you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, blah, blah. Textbooks you are using this semester. So for this semester, kung ano yung subject mo, yun din yung textbook na gagamitin mo. Then ilan sila? Okay? So no mathematical computation. Ang ginawa lang natin yun lang, as it is, no? Meron tayong colors in the US flag. Pwede ding names ng mga estudyante sa BS Ed Sciences. Names of the students sa BS Ed Socstat. Something like that. Okay? That is nominal. Next, ang next level will have ordinal, arranged in order, but differences between data entries are not meaningful. Again, ito yung sinabi ko kanina na meron siyang order in a logical order, but they don't have any relationship. Ibig sabihin, walang relationship ang rank 1 at saka rank 2. Rank 1 at saka rank 5. No relationship. Because according to here, but differences between data entries are not meaningful. No, ibig sabihin, again, hindi natin pwedeng kunin yung relationship ng top 1 at saka top 5. Ano mangyayari? Okay? Because that is in ordinal level. For example, class standings. Okay, na top 1 to 5. Di man pwede nimo i-minus ang top 5 o top 1 para makahimo kag top 4, di ba? So wala siya relationship, no? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, kada sila nga mga order. Alam natin that ang freshman first year, sophomore second year, junior third year, senior fourth year. Okay? So order na siya, no? Naka-ordinal, but then again, they don't have any meaning. No, walang meaning si freshman at saka si senior. Depende na lang kung ang uyab first year ang babae, ang boyfriend senior. Kana na sila relationship. Pero sa mga inani, don't have any relationship technically. Next, numbers on the back of each player's shirt. Remember kada sa mga basket kasi may nagdulag basketball diri. Sa may lalaki na mujahid. O kung mga lalaki diri, sino ba yung naglaro ng basketball dito or nanonood ng basketball or any game, di ba? Makikita natin meron silang mga numbers sa kanilang damit, no? That is their number and that is in order also. Okay? That number 1 will be blah, 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 and so on. Okay? Again, meron silang logical order, but they don't have any meaning at all. Okay. Next, top 50 songs played on the radio. We have top 50 songs, but ang song number 1 o song number 25, they don't have any relationship at all. Pero alam natin, the top 1, siya yung mas gi-play for that whole week, and then yung top 50 ang pinaka-last. Alam natin, that's the interpretation. Again, that is the ordinal level of measurement. Next level, we have interval level of measurement. Data at the interval level of measurement are quantitative. No? A zero entry simply represents a position on a scale. The entry is not an inherent zero. So pwede nating maging entry ang zero, like for example 0 to 5. Pwede siya. And then meron siyang meaning. Okay? Meron siyang meaning, no? Okay. That 0 to 5 has a meaning. Pwede na siya. Okay, next in the level of measurement. And then we have Manning. Manning. Lata kasi teacher. Himong Manning. Okay. You're so man. Okay, next example, arranged in order. Please take note that is arranged in order. The differences between data entries can be calculated. Ibig sabihin, since you can calculate the differences between data, meron silang relationship, children. Like for example, um, temperature na temperature between 18 to 15, for example. Yan na siya. So, ang 18 to 15, therefore, meron silang difference of 3 degrees Celsius. Tama like that. Okay? So again, meron siyang logical order because that is still the same. 1 degree Celsius, 2 degrees Celsius, 3 degree. And then if you are to create an interval, meron relationship 1 degree Celsius to 10 degrees Celsius. Okay. Another years on a timeline. Okay, of course, 2020 to 2021. That's actually the whole year of our pandemic, no, the experienced pandemic. In other countries, like for example, in China, it started way back 2019. So 2019 to 2021. Okay. Next, Atlanta Braves World Series victories. Ilahan yung mga daog. Okay, interval. Anyway, so again, ang ating interval level arranged in a particular order in logical manner. At the same time, they have relationship. Next, the last one is ratio. A ratio of two data values can be formed. So one data value can be expressed as a ratio. If, for example, ages. Age na to, ang yung grade point averages na to. And please take note sa mga ganitong level, kailangan na natin siya i-compute at some point. Okay? So ages, grade point averages, and then of course our weights. So that is our ratio level of measurement. But a zero entry is meaningful. Yes, no? Kasi pag ibig sabihin natin zero, sa ratio level natin zero, mean to say wala ka pang edad, hindi ka pang pinanganak. Okay? Or yan, hindi ka pa nag 1 month, for example. Sa grade point average, alam naman natin ang zero, meron talagang meaning. Pag zero gali ka, agoy wag yun. Okay. Pag imuhang timbang zero, hagas ba na itimbang zero? Unsa ka papel? Di ba? So, kanan siya, na meaning ang zero sa ratio level, but in the interval level, walay meaning ang zero. So, appeal siya. Okay, let's try to look at the summary of levels of measurement. Put in data categories, we have arrange data in order, subtract data values kung pwede, no? And then determine if one data value is a multiple of another. Again, sa nominal, put data in categories, pwede. Colors of shirts, favorite colors, colors of flags of Philippines. Put data in categories, yes. Arrange data in order, no, because you cannot say that red is higher than yellow or the other one. So walay order ang ato ang nominal. Subtract data values somewhat dili pwede because you cannot subtract, for example, yellow minus orange. Ang labas ana black, so ba? Diba wala? Next, for ordinal, ang ordinal naman natin, you can actually put that into categories. At the same time, you can put that in order. That's ordinal. Interval, you can put that in categories, arrange data in order, and then of course you can subtract data values. Like for example, again, 10 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius. Ano yung difference sa kanila? That is now the answer for the third column. Subtract data values. Pwede siya. And then of course, a ratio, pwede siya sa apat. Okay, so those are the summary of levels of measurement. And by the time we will be encountering data later on, we will appreciate and understand more the levels of measurement. Sa ngayon, medyo hindi pa natin siya ma-appreciate kasi nga we don't have any specific data for each level. But later on, as we go along with our discussion, I will be introducing to you sets of data, and then let's try to identify if that is nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio. Okay, are you still there, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, po.
Okay, laban lang. Next would be the frequency distribution. Our frequency distribution, I believe, hindi ito alien sa inyo, no? Because na part ito sa discussion talaga, basic discussion sa statistics during your senior high school. When we say frequency distribution, it is a tabular arrangement of data into appropriate categories showing the number of observations in each category or group. Ibig sabihin, the arrangement nakadata na siya. So meron kang categories, And then of course, meron kang mga showing the number of observations. So ano pong ibig sabihin ng number of observations? Like for example, ang first column nimo, ang kukunin nating data kay colors. So, like for example, white. No, nagpa-survey ka, nilagay mo lahat ang mga kulay na alam mo. Nag-survey ka, and then tinignan mo kung ilan yung mga tao dito ang gusto ng puti, black, yellow, orange. Like for example, sabi mo, okay, based on your survey, ang ganahan og puti kay tulo ka buok. So you're 3. And that is the number of observations. Kung sino yung gusto ng black, siguro based on your survey, ang gusto ng black 10. That is again number of observation for each category or group. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Opo.
Okay. Next, there are two major advantages of your frequency distribution. The first one is it encompasses the size of the table. Ibig sabihin kung ano yung laman, no? Kung ano yung laman, it could actually cover everything. Kung ano yung gusto mong makita. Letter B, it makes the data more interpretive. Why? Because naka-cluster mo siya lahat. Meron kang different categories, you have number of observations, everything na gusto mong makita when it comes to interpretations, you can actually use the frequency distribution table. No, yung sa statistics, ang tinatawag nila dito is FDT. FDT, Frequency Distribution Table. Okay. Now, let's try to look at the parts of your frequency table, children. The first one is what we call the class limit. So class limit is the groupings or categories defined by the lower and upper limits. In a way, meron tayong pa-example, that one. Ang first side, this is in uniform, children, ha? Because I will be giving you an activity for this. Please make sure that on this side, on the left side, no, in the left side corner, dapat na siya ang naadila napita kay ang imuhang what you call this, ang lower limit. Okay? And then dire, on the other side, dapat ang naadila is ang upper limit. Okay. So ano po ibig sabihin? Let's try this one. Okay? That is the interval between 10 to 14. Tingnan mo, mas malaki yung 14 kaysa 10. Therefore, ang 10 na diri napita nga side, ang 14 on this side. Kahit alam ninyo ito, kailangan pa natin balikan because this could be, you could actually encounter this one as a mistake again, no? By the time we will be having our activity. So lower limit, ang tawag dito, and then upper limit. And we call them the class limit, children. Okay? One of that is what we call the class limit. Nakuha?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sige. Next, we also have 15, 19. We have 20 to 24. Okay. So again, our lower class limit represented by LL represents the smallest number in each group. Sir, ito pala yung ibig sabihin natin na group. Yes. 10 to 14 is one group. 15 to 19, another group. 20 to 24 is another group. And we call them class limit. Okay. Next, upper class limit that is represented by letters U and L represents the highest number in each group. Okay. So sa dito, ang lower class limit natin 15, 20. And then yung upper limit, we have 14, 19, 24. Yeah, tama. Okay? Ako ha?
Yes
Walang
po.
questions
Yes,
so
sir.
far?
And so far,
Okay.
sir.
And so far, let's continue. Next would be the class size. The class size is the width of each class interval. So again, naka-mention na siyang interval, children. We all know, diba sinabi ko kanina, this one can be termed as interval or group. Okay? So pag sinasabing class size, children, that is the width of each class interval. Ibig sabihin, ang difference between 10 to 14. Okay? So we have 10 to 14. The class size in this core distribution, sorry, hindi pala siya difference ha. Ang distance between 10 to 14, hindi difference. The class size in this core distribution is 5. Why? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, if you're going to count children, please count start. You have to start from number 10, from 10, and then you have to end to 14. If you're going to count it, di ba, 5 fingers yung magagamit natin. Therefore, the class size of this group is 5. Dili siya 14 minus 10 ha. Kay lahi
Yes.
ang answer ana. So dili pod ka hindi mo din siya i-count between 10 to 14. Do not count starting from 11. Okay? You have to count starting from number 10 or from 10 to 14. That's why ang nakuha natin dito is 5. Nakuha?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So that's how we get our class size. Hindi ko alam kung you will still remember this one because I believe last semester nag-discuss ako ng class size and then meron akong activity na solely to identify the width of the class interval pero meron pa rin hindi nakakasagot. May nga sa sir, saan dito pag-compute? Na wala ka lang i-compute. All you have to do is to count. And then you will now identify when you can actually determine now the class size by counting starting from the number of your lower limit up to the upper limit. Okay. I hope ma-retain natin yan. Okay. Another part is what we call the class boundaries. No? Ang class boundaries natin, children, we just have to follow the rule for identifying or determining your class boundaries. According to the rule, class boundaries are the numbers used to separate each category in the frequency distribution, but without gaps created by the class limits. Okay, in a way, so as for the first sentence, let's proceed. The scores of the students are discrete. Alam natin na they are discrete, meaning to say they are in counts, scores. Okay, add 0.5 to the upper limit to get the upper class boundary. Okay? Meaning to say, sa upper limit, upper class limit, saan natin makikita yung upper class limit, by the way?
Sa right
Sa
side.
side.
Sir. Right
Sa
side
right
po.
Very
side,
good.
sir.
Sa right side. Okay? So, sa right side daw, ang gagawin natin, children, we have to add 0.5 to the upper limit. So mag-add tayo ng 0.5. That is now the upper class boundary. Again, we call it upper class boundary. Okay. Anyway, mayroon tayo example na sign out sa inyo. And subtract 0.5 to the lower limit. Of course, ang lower limit natin on the other side. No, it's in the left side of the corner. Okay, 0.5 to the lower limit to get the lower class boundary in each group or category. Okay. So let's try to have this example. Please observe the example, children. Okay, remember that our class limit here, no, meron tayong tinatawag na class limit, no? Lower limit natin sa first category or first group, we have 10 to 14. Okay, can you hear the sound of my messenger?
No, sir.
Hindi po,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Okay, sige. I'm worried kasi meron nagpa-pop up. Okay. Of course, we have our class limit, 10 to 14. If we're going to convert it to class boundaries, not actually converting it, no? If we are to identify the class boundaries, children, instead of 10, it will now become 9.5. Bakit? Bakit maging 9.5?
Minus
Minus, sir, ng 0.5.
Yes,
Subtract
that is
0.5.
yes, we have to subtract 0.5. That is why all your lower limit got lower, no? Nag-lower siya to 0.5. So instead of 10, 9.5. Instead of 15, you have 14.5. Instead of 20, you have 19.5. Now, according to the rule, we have to add 0.5 to our upper limit. Therefore, instead of 14, we got 14.5. Instead of 19, we got 19.5. Instead of 24, we got 24.5. Claro?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Claro yan, ha? Okay, sige, magbahagi na itong activity ani ron. Okay, next would be class marks. Another part of your frequency table, because I actually give an emphasis to this because for your first activity, you have to identify all the parts of your frequency table, and then you have to get to gather value, no, values ana niya. Okay. For your class marks naman, ang class mark is also known as the midpoint. Again, when we say class mark children, because there are sets of problems, no? Mga problem sets or lahi nga reference sa libro sa statistics nga instead of using the word class mark, they will be using the word midpoint. Okay? So that is why class marks here is also known as midpoint. Okay. Ibig sabihin, that is the middle of your lower and upper limit. So dito na natin magagamit yung tinatawag natin na 1 plus 1 divide 2 na divide 2, di ba? So that is our class marks. That's how we do it. And please take note of the formula. The formula is x sub m. So is that always the formula? No naman. But binibigyan na natin siya ng representation. So as we have here, please take note that if you will see x sub m, that is the class mark or the midpoint. Again, the formula is x sub m is equal to LL plus UL divided by 2. Ibig sabihin, ang pag-solve nato sa itong class marks children would be 10 plus 14 divided by 2. That is why between 10 to 14, your midpoint is 12. Okay? And then 15 to 19, the interval 15 to 19 children, the midpoint of that is 17. Okay? So kailangan talaga natin itong malaman children because kini ato ang discussion mag-increase ang level ani niya. If we're going to look at our handout, no, your PowerPoint, the presentation that I have given to you, at the same time, the problem sets, you would notice na yung table natin sa FDT, instead na kukunin na natin class boundary lang, midpoint lang, kung titingnan natin, nagka-stretch na yung table natin. Because we are to identify values coming from these values. Okay. Okay. Next, we have 20 to 24, that is 22. Okay. Question so far for class marks?
Sir, parang ano, no, getting the average values.
Yes, yes, dear. Mura na kagakuha sa imong average value, no? That's actually the same when you are getting to determine your average or mean, something like that. So all you have to do again is to add, no, the numbers, the upper and then the lower limit, and then divided by 2. That is your midpoint or class marks. Okay, nakuha, children?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next, the next part would be the steps in constructing your frequency. Okay. Maklaro pa po na akong presentation siguro ang klaro na. Okay.
yes, sir.
So we have to have our, steps in constructing your frequency, compute the value of the range. Okay. So ito daw yung unang natin gagawin. Pero anyway, there are a lot of ways to kill the cat. No? There are people na since they are very familiar with the frequency distribution table, iba yung proseso nila. But for here, for us to remember everything, and then for us to really identify the important numbers here, we have to follow this one step. Okay. So number one, daw, we have to compute the value of the range. No? Range is the difference between the highest score and then the lowest score. That's the first thing. Okay. So meaning to say, ang gagawin ngayon ng teacher, magbibigay si teacher ng sets of data. For example, scores. Siguro nagpa-score, ang score na gagamitin ko siguro dito, yung score niyo sa short quiz 1 ninyo. No? So if 20 plus tayo or 30 plus, please expect that you will get 30 plus numbers coming from me. And then ang gagawin ninyo, hahanapin ninyo yung may pinakamataas na score, and then hanapin niyo yung pinakamababa na score. And then anong gagawin? You have to get the difference between the highest score and the lowest score. And that is now your range. Now, for example, if the score, kung meron tayong quiz na 20, may nakakuha ng 20, that's the highest score. At saka meron nakakuha ng 10 na lowest score. So 20 minus 10, you have 10. So that is now the range of your frequency distribution. Now, right after getting the range, children, you have to determine the class size. Okay. Again, yung class size natin, let's try to look at kung ilan ba yung makukuha nating leveling. Okay, anyway, class size or C dot I is equal to R, yung value ng range, divided by desired number of classes. Okay, sorry. Okay. So desired number of classes. So R is equal to K. Ang K natin, children, makukuha natin yan. Saan yung K? Alright. Ibibigay ko sa inyo because wala siya dito. Supposedly itong K kasi, meron siyang computation yung K. Okay? So I will include it also.
Meron po,
Or
sir.
meron itong value itong K. So all you have to do is to get the K and then you have to key in the value of your R and then the value of your K so that you can get the class size. Okay? So that's it. And then again, since meron na tayong range, I'll be giving you the formula of K, how to identify K. Okay. Next, number 3, set up the class limits of each class or category. Each class defined by the lower limit, again, and upper limit. And then use the lowest score as the lower limit. So yung pinakamaliit na score, yun yung gagamitin mong lower limit of the first class. Ibig sabihin, kung ang lower limit natin, children, or yung pinakamaliit nating score ay 10, therefore siya yung dapat natin isulat sa pinakataas. No? Nasa sa pinakauna, and then nasa sa left side. Okay? So mag-una dito ang 10. Set up the class boundaries if needed. Use the formula. Kung kinakailangan yung class boundaries, kung hinihingi yung class boundaries, all you have to do is to get this one. You have to use this formula. Okay, so that is the class boundaries. Okay? Kung kailangan lang ha, kung kailangan kunin natin siya. And then of course, we have to tally the scores in the appropriate classes. I think meron tayong example now. You have to tally the scores in the appropriate classes and then find the other parts if necessary. Okay. Ganun siya. Tingnan na siguro natin yung score example. Okay. So we have an example, raw scores of 40 students in a 50-item science quiz. Construct a frequency distribution following the steps given previously. So meaning to say, meron tayong raw scores of 40 students. So expected na meron tayong 40 lahat ng mga score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is 40. Then ang gagawin daw natin, children, ang pinakauna, diba, ang gagawin natin, hanapin natin yung highest score at saka yung lowest score. So according to here, ang highest score daw natin is 50. And then the lowest score is 15. Nakita?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why do we have to determine the highest value and then the lowest score? It is because we have to get first the range, no? So meaning 50 minus 15, we have 35. Okay. And then yung small letter n natin, ang ibig sabihin ng small letter n natin, children, is the number of population or sample. Okay? That is 40. So 40 sila lahat. Next, solve the value of k. Ito yung value pala ng k, children. So we have k is equal to 1 plus 3.3 log n. So ato lang na siyang i-key in. Please take note. That one. So ang unang i-compute ani children, you have to get first the log 40. So ang sa mga scientific calculator ani, you just have to key in log and then you have to write 40. Or yung iba, pwede na lang isulat mo na yung 40 before you key in log. Okay. So the log 40 is 1.60, 25,991 and so on. So again, i-multiply siya, 3.3 times the log plus 1, you can now get your k value. Okay? Or k is equal to 6. Okay. Sir, pwede ba nating increase? Pwede ba tayo mag 6 to 7? 6 magiging 7 pwede. Because I cannot remember children, no? someone told me, I just don't know kung sino ba yung teacher namin nun, but somebody told me that if you can get 6 here, you can actually increase that next higher integer. So pwede na ito na siya is 7. Dira. Okay. But anyway, you will know later, no, because right after doing the activity, we will discuss man the activity, and then we will know later kung ano yung mangyayari sa k na value. Okay, so that's how you solve k. You now have your r, children. You also now have your k. So the next value that we have to identify is the class size. Okay, so we have 35 divided by 6. You have 5.833 or 6. Okay, so that is your class size. Ang ibig sabihin, you have to construct the class limit now, starting with the lowest score as the lower limit of the first category. And then the last category should contain the highest score in the distribution. Para mas maintindihan, sorry, para mas maintindihan ito, children. Ang sinabi niya kanina, ang 15 daw, sorry, parang kulang pa ni siya, no? Kaya siya. Ang sinabi kanina sa first bullet, construct the class limit starting with the lowest score. Nara. So ang lowest score natin is 15. So siya dapat ang mabutang dira. And then the last category, ito yung last category, no? Kaya siya. Should contain the highest score in the distribution. So sayop ni siya, pwede pa nating lagyan. So, dapat ang lalabas dapat dito, children, ang highest score, dapat dito siya masulat banda. On the opposite side, 50. Since 50 is the highest score, therefore, 50 should be written here. Okay. So, ano po yung ibig sabihin ng class size? Ang class size ngayon ay ito 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Di ba sa computation natin sa class size kanina, ilan yung computation natin sa class size?
6.
Yung CI? 6. So, meaning to say, dapat meron ka ding 6 categories, children. Ito yung ibig sabihin ng class size. 1. I don't know if you can see my cursor. Hindi nyo makikita yung cursor ko, no?
Hindi po.
Yes, sir.
Hindi po.
Okay, anyway. First class size, 15 to 21. Second class size, 20 to 26. 27, 32. Third, 33 to 38, fourth, 39 to 44, fifth. Kaya sabi ko, kulang ito kasi nga, according to our computation, dapat ang class size natin 6, pero 5 lang ito. So ito yung ibig sabihin ng class size. Nakuha?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's what we mean by class size, children. Next. Complete the table. Sorry. Ayan. Yan na siya ngayon. So, ang 15, ang lowest score nasa on this side, and then ang highest score, nakita siya, nasa on this side. Please take note. And then, we have to get our F, children. Di ba ang taas pa ng proseso bago natin ito makuha, yung X? Okay. Next, we have to identify F. So, ano po yung ibig sabihin ng F? F is frequency. Ibig sabihin, ilan yung scores na pasok between 15 to 20. So maghahanap ka ngayon doon sa scores na ibinigay ko, maghahanap ka ngayon kung ilan yung nakakuha ng scores between 15 to 20. Ilalagay mo dyan yan, itatali mo yan. Okay? And so on. Next, ang class boundaries, alam natin that our class boundaries, for us to get the class boundaries, the left side of or the lower limit should be subtracted by 0.5, and then the upper limit should be added by 0.5 to get the value of your class boundaries. Therefore, let's take an example. The class boundary for 15 to 20 is 14.5 to 20.5. Okay? Next, the X sub M. X sub M is what? Ano yung X sub M?
Midpoint.
Ano yung X sub M? Very good. That is our midpoint. Okay? That is our midpoint or our class marks. Okay. So meaning to say, ang 17.5, sir, saan namin kukunin ang 17.5? Dito sa 14.5 to 25 or dito sa 15 to 20? Please, children, kaya siya nilagyan ng
Sa
X,
X,
no? Oh yes, very good. Kaya siya nilagyan ng X sub M because M there is the midpoint of X. Okay, therefore, you have to get the midpoint value from the first column. So 15 plus 20 divided by 2, you get 17.5. Sir, what you call this? Can I write 18? No. Dapat makita gyud siya nga 17.5 gyud ang tunga sa imuhang 15 to 20. Do not write 18. Ayaw siya i-round off. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Okay, so that's and then you can actually check if your answer is correct at some point, no? Because remember our sample is 40. Dapat kining frequency na to kay mo total ni siya og kanatong second column kanang letter F, dapat mo total na siya og 40. If the total there is 40 at some point, you have the correct appropriation of your data. No? Kung hindi naman yan 40, kung lagpas 40 or kulang ng 40, there's something wrong with the data. Okay? There's something wrong with the data inside your table. So let's try to count down kung 40 ba yun. We have 10 plus 10, we have 20 plus 4, 24 plus 3, 27. Okay? Plus 9, 27 plus 4, we have
41.
31 plus 9, 40, sir.
sorry. Lipo? Wait ka. Okay, sige lang. Yan. Okay. Sige. So that's it. Is it 40?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir,
Okay.
40.
Kasi at some point parang tama yung ginawa natin sa table na to. Okay. Next. Pero as na paano magsugo, di ba? Ang sad eh. Oh my gosh, we have actually our Kuanday, no? Have you registered yung intellectual
Yes,
property?
sir.
Webinar?
Yes, sir.
Anong oras yun?
Yes, sir.
Ano yung oras mo
9,
sisimula?
sir. 9,
Nine.
sir.
9.
Okay. Ang link, di ko ang link. Send sa trio. Okay. So mag-multitasking tayo nito no, while doing our webinar and then klase. Because class is life. For all. Okay. Let's continue. And this one, parang gi-increase ko lang yung table natin, no? Dito meron tayong, ang data na naman dito is rainfall or inches. But I will not be giving you the same data, no, na merong mga decimal places kay medyo magsalimuan kitag samot aning. Okay. But then again, I did mention kanina, children, that there are cases talaga that we have to extend our table, especially kung kailangan talaga yung mga data. But anyway, gusto ko lang ipakita sa inyo that that is really possible, no? That we have to get the other term. We have the term relative frequency, and then we also have the term cumulative relative frequency. Okay. Anyway, next, this one. Okay. This one, sa atin, kinuha natin ano yung existing sa atin children. We have frequency, we have class boundaries, we also have our midpoint. Nilagyan ko siya ng relative frequency. Okay? Sir, paano po gawin yung relative frequency, sir? All you have to do there is, dapat ang ato ang denominator, di ba alam naman natin yung denominator, di ba? Yung denominator is the
Yes, sir.
value. Okay. So yung denominator natin is ang sample, which is 40. Okay? If you get the total of the second column, the F, you would get 40. So kung nakikita niyo sa relative frequency, lahat nung nasa denominator 40. Sir, ano po yung 4? Saan nakakuha yung 4? Yung 9? Yung 3? Yung 10? Yung 4 at saka 10. Nakukuha siya by writing your F value as a numerator. So since ang frequency natin is 4, therefore this is 4 over 40. That is your relative frequency. Nakuha kung paano kinuha ang relative frequency?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir. Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, no, kitang-kita. Next would be the cumulative relative frequency. So paano ba natin kukunin ang cumulative relative frequency? How to get it? How to get it? In our cumulative relative frequency children, dapat ang matotal nito, yung pinakalas talaga is magiging 1. Okay. Can someone try to compute kung paano kinuha ang 0.1?
Sir, i-divide yung relative frequency.
Okay. So if we have 4 divided by 40, can we get 0.1?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes? Okay.
Yes,
Opo.
sir.
You would notice,
Po.
yes, very good. And then, and you would notice children, dapat talaga kung tama yung computation ninyo, sa column ng tinatawag nating cumulative relative frequency, dapat ang nasa pinaka-last, dapat mag-equal siya og 1. Sir, dapat ba talaga 1 talaga dito, sir? Yes. 1 dapat yung nasa baba. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So, parang siya yung cue ninyo nga tama yung ginagawa ninyo. Next would be the cumulative frequency. Sir, paano po namin gawin yung cumulative frequency? Remember children, your frequency is total of 40. Dapat din ang lalabas dito sa pinakababa na portion is 40. Sir, paano kinuha? 4. Tingnan natin. 4 ha, dito
4
tayo sa
plus.
cumulative frequency. Dito tayo kukuha sa cumulative frequency na column. And then, dito tayo sa column na naman ng F. Okay. Remember our frequency, our letter F is 4. Meaning kasi you have to write 4 sa cumulative frequency. Next, 4 plus 9. Sir, saan yung 4 plus 9? Yung 4 na sinulat natin sa cumulative frequency, i-add natin siya sa 9 sa F natin, sa second column. So you have 4 plus 9, you have 13. Do you follow, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next. 13 plus 3, you have 16. 16 plus 10, you have 26. 26 plus 4, we have 30. And 30 plus 10, we have 40. Nakuha?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Opo.
Sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yung cumulative frequency natin, children, yung proseso ng cumulative frequency, the same process yan sa pagkuha ng cumulative relative frequency. Okay? Because 4 divided by 40 is 0.1. And 9 divided by 40 is, meron siyang value. All you have to do is add 0.1 and then the value of 9 divided by 40. That's why we get 0.325. 0.325, gi-add natin yung value ng 3 over 40. That is why we get 0.4. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Nakuha, children?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
very
sir.
good. Okay, it's already 8:23. Okay, it's already 8:23 and we will stop here because the other lesson na naman, it's another set of activities, so hindi ko gusto siyang i-mix up. So we will end the discussion here because we will be having our activity for this and I will be posting it today. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Any questions so far? Do you have any questions?
None so far, sir.
And so far.
Okay. Anyway, I will be posting the video siguro after ng second period ko, I will be posting the video. Tamang-tama din, it will be rendered and it will be sent to my email. And then I will be uploading the video at the same time the activity sheets. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So if you don't have any
Yes,
questions,
sir.
okay. If you don't have any questions siguro, I would like to stop the recording.